Hey there, I'm Rue, and does anyone remember virtual worlds? They were these flash-powered sandboxes where kids could do anything, from exploring faraway worlds, partying in igloos, and being scammed out of all your rare items. These sites were all the rage in the 2000s, and I was completely obsessed with them. I spent hours glued to my family's computer, playing on sites like Animal Jam, Pop Tropica, and Mushy Monsters, but my all-time favourite had got to be Club Penguin. Now, Club Penguin was an online virtual world created in 2005, where kids could play as penguins in a snowy island-themed open world. Kids could do anything from playing the minigames scattered around the map, customizing their penguin to be whoever they wanted to be, throwing parties in their igloo, or adopting the resident pets, Puffles. Though my highlight had got to be the parties and events where the island would be transformed into a new setting each month. There were the classics like the holiday party, the Halloween party, the April Fool's party, but then there will also be the cursed Disney takeovers, which just existed mainly only to advertise Disney products. I'm still not sure how to feel about Kermit in this art style. He looks like he has seen stuff. You guys have no idea how much this game had an ice cold grip on me. I had everything Club Penguin back in the day. I had merch, I had the books, I had the random card games. I would take photos of everything I would see in the game on my little tiny portable camera at the time because I wanted to archive my favorite game. Nowadays, the landscape has changed dramatically, as most sites are shells of their former selves or just completely taken down. It's kind of bittersweet to see what virtual worlds have become, but it's still nice to see a few sites alive and well thanks to dedicated fans. All the gameplay footage seen in the segment at the moment is from Club Penguin Legacy, so thanks for them for keeping the game up. I wouldn't have been able to have the footage if it wasn't for them. So to celebrate Club Penguin turning 20, I guess I know this is months late, I know it's January, shut up. I thought I could indulge my nostalgia a little and draw these mascots as people. I have no idea how this niche will go in the algorithm, but I missed this game a lot and I wanted a reason to draw these characters for once. Though enough chatting, let's get into the first mascot. So Cadence was my absolute favourite as a kid, so I thought I may as well just start with her first. Cadence was the island's resident DJ, songwriter and dancer. She was a bit of a cool and hip superstar, normally using her own slang words and phrases such as "that's ice," which fits the whole penguin thing. In the 2012s, they also started dropping actual songs, and holy shit was young me so excited about these. Like, these songs were unironically fire. Like, Ghost Just Wanna Dance didn't need to go this hard. Like, holy shit. I feel like she is the most 2000s out of the group, so I felt I just had to lean towards that time period's aesthetic, more specifically the alternate fashion movement scene. Most people know the aesthetic by its now Gen Z reinterpretation online, but scene first emerged from the emo subcategory in early 2000s. It was later popularized by the sites like MySpace, leading to the design elements such as the raccoon eyeliner, brightly colored hair with horizontal stripes, and of course the knee-high Converse sneakers, becoming the more prominent face of the aesthetic, and symbols such as stripes, skulls, and checkerboards becoming common design elements. I felt this style would fit Cadence perfectly, from the contrast of the black and neon accents to the use of stripes which would reflect her scarf nicely. I felt that this aesthetic was just perfect for her. I also felt that Cadence would most definitely have had a MySpace. She strikes me as the more internet savvy out of the group. One of the other aesthetics I also pulled from was the Candy Raver, which began in the early 1990s in the rave scene and centered around the creation and exchange of handmade beaded jewelry, also known as candy. As stated on the Club Penguin wiki, Cadence loves bright colours, so I really wanted to lean towards maximalism and just colour and Cadence's design, which is why these bracelets felt very fitting, as I feel like she would have been given a bunch by fans at concerts. Some last minute details were also giving her Decora type hair clips. My favourite addition is the Puffle. I just like anything Puffle if I'm going to be honest. And her headphones being in the shape of music notes to really hammer home that she is a DJ. Though enough about Cadence, let me explain the goal for today. So the way I wanted to set this video up was to design these characters as figures. Specifically the My Little Pony anime figures that have their human design and pony design in one set. I like them, they look so cool. I'm not sure if this would actually translate as figures due to the amount of detail that are on some of them, but I still thought it would be nice to do a side-by-side comparison of the penguin design and the human design, plus giving me a reason to draw these penguins. So while researching for this video, I learned a bunch of random fun facts about these characters, so thank you Club Penguin Wiki, you are my absolute favourite resource ever. So I felt like saying one fun fact after each segment. So Cadence's fun fact is her favourite drink is water. I'm not kidding, it is specifically stated that it is water, which I genuinely think is really funny. I've always loved spy media, so I just had to draw Gary the Gadget Guy. He is the island's resident inventor, being the one to have invented many of the minigames seen on the island, such as the Peachotron 3000, Aqua Grabber 3000, and DJ 3K. If anything ends in 3000, it is most definitely created by Gary. He was also the second in command at the island's resident secret agency, which was named Penguin Secret Agency at the time, which then later got changed to Elite Penguin Force due to the popcorn incident. I was absolutely obsessed with the EPF. It felt like an exclusive club that you could join and solve mysteries around the island, and best of all were the missions. They were these point-and-click puzzle games. You just had to help people around the island, and of course foiling the series' big bad guy, Herbert P. Bear, a grumpy polar bear who hates the cold, penguins, and he just wants to find somewhere warm. Gary has probably become my favourite character nowadays, mainly due to the fact he works as a secret agent, but I can just relate to him a lot. He doesn't like crowds and would rather create stuff than attending parties. He finds it hard to concentrate when there is too much happening around him. He tends to give overly wordy explanations. I completely forgot that I stole the glasses designs from him for my own, like, how I draw myself normally. This guy is just me, for real, for real. For his design, he kind of is just a scientist, so I tried to make his design a little bit more interesting by leaning towards more of a mad scientist, by giving him messy curly brown hair similar to his younger self, and leaning towards the more destructive nature of his inventions. His lab coat is covered in wears and tears and burn marks, and I also tried to just make him look a little bit more chaotic. Within his design, there is also a lot of lightning bolts present, from his glasses to his tie, to present the concept of ideas, like he's constantly thinking of things. So I shaped his tie to be similar to a lightning bolt. I felt like it would just complement the design really nicely and really cement mad scientist vibes. As some finishing touches, I decided to add a bunch of motifs that would reflect his personality and job, from a mug full of coffee as he drinks a lot of caffeine so he can stay up late working on his inventions, a wrench just in case for inventing, and the old PSA phone design. Ignore that I had written EPF on the notebook. I completely forgot to change that, and I just really like the old PSA phone design. It just looks really nice. The new one's fine, but it's just the way that it's just blue, it's cute. It feels spy. As for Gary's fun fact, he is scared of decaf coffee, ghosts, even though his great uncle is one, and outdated technology such as rotary phones, but he also has an irrational fear of analog clocks. Being first introduced in 2006 as no one's mum and everyone's favourite auntie, which is honestly so real for her, we have Aunt Arctic. Probably the face of Club Penguin at this point, or well, she is to me. She ran an advice column in Club Penguin Times, the island's newspaper, where players were kept up to date with current events happening on the island, and they could write in with their burning questions for her to answer. So to fit with the news reporter theme, I felt I should make her as academic as possible. I really lean towards the aesthetic light academia, which is an internet aesthetic popularized in the 2010s, which is a modern reinterpretation of an Oxford student, with many of the clothing styles being based around neutral and earthy tones, knitwear, tailored trousers, vintage glasses, and of course Oxford shoes. I also really wanted to make her design practical, as she is normally out researching history and investigating topics for the Club Penguin Times. But she also has to be stylish. Come on, she's Aunt Arctic, everyone's favourite aunt. So I decided to give her Oxford black and white wingtip shoes, because I just love giving my characters these types of shoes. I don't know, they just look really cool to me. Of course, I just had to keep the iconic cat eye reading glasses, the pencil tucked behind her ear, and the beanie. Originally in my concept, I was going to be putting pins on her beanie, kind of similar to the ones you'd find in-game. For the people who don't know, every other week there would be pins hidden around the island which players could find and then just have on their profile. They're just little collectors, they were really cute, some of the designs are really nice, I liked them. However, I felt like it just wouldn't help the design later on. I'm really happy I forgot about it because I feel like her design would be too cluttered if I decided to add some pins onto the beanie. Although Aunt Arctic has a lot of pink in her design, her favourite colour is actually green, so I wanted her secondary colour to reflect that by making the tartan skirt prominently green with hints of pink, dyeing the ends of her hair, giving her green eyeshadow, and lime green earrings. I really didn't like working with the green and pink, if I'm being honest. It was an absolute struggle colour testing this design, because nothing felt like it was working. I'm happy in the end I found a healthy balance, but I had a hard time shading that tartan skirt as well, and I regret adding patterns every time I design a character. I never understand how to shade them. It's a struggle. Aunt Arctic made me struggle. I'm so sad. Now for Aunt Arctic's fun fact. She is British. I'm not joking. She enjoys tea and scones and speaks in a British accent. It's actually quite fitting for her, mainly because she is the director of the Elite Penguin Force. Yes, the lore runs deep with Club Penguin. I am just scratching the surface with some of these characters. There is just crazy amounts of lore that these characters are a part of, and oh, I miss it. I miss it so much. Maybe if I make a part 2, I'll talk about the lore more. I don't know. I also like how it's a callback to James Bond, as a lot of the directors in those are also British. So it just sort of fits. Like, there's always, like, spy media always has a British director somehow. Rockhopper was the one I was more neutral about. I don't dislike the character, but he just isn't really a favourite of mine. But I also felt like I couldn't leave him out, as I drew on Arctic and Gary, and I feel like the three of them are kind of a staple of this game at this point, so it would feel weird to not draw him. Rockhopper is a pirate captain who would travel to and from Club Penguin, normally in search of treasure, but occasionally he would come back for parties, where he would dock at the lighthouse and players could climb aboard his ship, the Migrator. They would be able to play the treasure hunt minigame in his captain's quarters, or meet him as well. Rockhopper, of course, takes his namesake from the Rockhopper penguin, and is the only character in universe to actually take design elements from a real-world penguin, so I felt I needed to try and add those feathers into the design. Originally I wanted to make the silhouette with his hair to mimic the feathers, which you could see in the sketch phase, but it just felt a bit off, so I scrapped it for the eyebrows instead, going with a similar design to his penguin. Following on with the pirate theme, I took obvious inspiration here from the infamous pirate Blackbeard, specifically the one from Our Flag Means Death. I don't know, man. Just the way they designed Blackbeard for that show, he just looks really cool, and I wanted to use his beard as reference, like, I had to. I made the beard more unruly and bushy compared to his penguin counterpart, as he also uses it in universe to store things in. I also felt making his beard bigger would make him prominent within the design, and lean towards his age by giving it a salt and pepper look. And also I gave him wrinkles. He actually used to have wrinkles in his 2006 design, but they took it out for some reason. They literally hinted at him being the oldest penguin. You can't take a man's wrinkles away and then drop that line. As for his outfit, I lean towards his 2013 onwards design, which has him sporting his pirate's coat and of course his legendary hat. It's pretty simple, there's nothing really else to talk about, but I did add the feather in his hat as a callback to his original design, as I felt the outfit just needed more red in it. As for Rockhopper's fun fact, back before the lighthouse was created, the devs were trying to figure out what to put inside it. Two artists threw around the idea of making a pirate character, so Rockhopper was born, and a portrait of him was created for the space. Rockhopper's backstory later had him encountering red puffles for the first time on his travels. However, this completely contradicted the portrait, which depicted him with a red puffle. The puffle was later removed, but they still kept the puffle emblem on his hat. So of course, I had to draw his penguin with his puffle yar, just as a little throwback to this incident. Rookie was the one character I was severely procrastinating on, and the reason why this video took forever to make. I really couldn't come up with a way to translate his goofiness into a design that I liked, which led to a lot of it coming across as off to me. Rookie is the group's goofy, happy-go-lucky character, although very accident-prone and often forgetful. He works with Gary at the Elite Penguin Force as the Rookie agent, hence the name, where he was written as the comic relief character. So I really tried to reflect that goofiness within his design by keeping his iconic Hawaiian shirt and propeller hat, but making it a little bit more like the cap similar to the design in Club Penguin Island. So I really try to stay away from Club Penguin Island as reference, as those are just not canon to the OG Club Penguin. But for those who don't know, it was a last-ditch effort created by Disney to reboot the series before it was shut down within a year because of dwindling player numbers, which was also the problem of original Club Penguin. As it was a reboot, all the mascots got redesigns, and I don't hate them. They lean towards shape theory and making the characters look stylized, but at the same time, some of them just look really cursed. Rookie's island design, however, is the one I don't dislike as much. Though I really wish he had his glasses on. In some concepts they have his glasses on, but for some reason his final doesn't. It looks off. I don't like it. So I decided to steal some of the elements from my design, such as the open shirt propeller cap and the overall surfer vibe. I actually had to look up on the Club Penguin Island wiki because I genuinely thought they gave him a secondary job alongside being a secret agent, because his design reads so much like a lifeguard or just as a surfer. But no. He's just a public relations officer, along with a intern agent. This is such a crazy pick for this character. A last minute addition was a crossbody bag. I didn't like how open his chest was, and felt by giving him a bag it would make it look less empty. I felt like it could also be similar to the Mary Poppins bag, where it's bigger on the inside, and Rookie could pull things out for visual gags. I think this becomes fitting when I started leaning towards the direction of making it look like the spiral from the box dimension. For those who don't know, it's a pocket universe that will normally appear during the April Fool's party. It's this purple cloud world full of boxes which would take you to different universes. When Rookie started becoming the host of the April Fool's party, he accidentally left a bunch of sealed boxes open in the box dimension, leading to players being able to explore several dimensions and being able to meet Rookie for the first time in-game. I'm kind of mad it's only now writing the segment, because I wrote this script after I had done the characters, that I'm starting to have ideas for Rookie's design. I really wish I leaned towards the box dimension more in this design. Like maybe he could have been like this absurd time traveler relating to the box dimension. Honestly, I might actually just redesign him later. If I make a part 2, I'll come up with something different then. Now for Rookie's fun fact, his prized possession is his propeller hat. He actually glued it to his head so he doesn't lose it. The hat is also powered by 2 A batteries, allowing him to fly, which is very fitting for this character. And that's the penguins. I actually do like how they turned out, but I think my favourites have got to be Cadence and Gary. Just the way I rendered these two scratches my brain, like, oh, their hair, their colours. I also feel like Gary is just the ossification of a fictional character. I could see him in my series Time Bash, which is maybe I might do that. I don't know. I only did 5 characters today as I've been severely procrastinating on this project. I was meant to make this in December, but I didn't. So I might make a part 2 in the future, maybe do some of the other mascots or Puffles as people. Oh my god, no, I actually have done that. I did this in 2014. Maybe I should redesign those. I don't know. They look so cursed. I've been wanting to make a video on Club Penguin for such a long time now. It's genuinely one of those things from my childhood that I love. And I feel like if it wasn't for the silly little MMO, I wouldn't be where I am with my art nowadays. So I hope I did these characters justice. So thank you so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. Maybe comment down below your favourite or who I should do next in a hypothetical part 2. I'm so happy to be starting the new year strong with a bit of nostalgia. I just really needed it. Hopefully I'll see you next time. Waddle on!